Hello everyone, you are welcome on Business and Commerce Chick channel. So here is another video of accounting. So today we will do about theory ways of accounting. So about today's topic in this video we will cover about fundamental accounting principles, assumption, basic accounting concepts, basis of accounting, voucher and its type. So before going further, I am making a request to you to please subscribe this channel so that you can get whenever I upload any new video regarding accounts. So general accepted accounting principle. So these are rules and practices that are followed in accounting. These are developed in a long period of time with the use and experience. So by trying different methods, when any method is found suitable by the experts, they adopt that method as a permanent practice of accounting, and that permanent practice become general accepted accounting principles. So these are required to maintain accuracy, consistency and continuity in accounting. So these principles are in existence because of long use or experience. Firstly, different methods are tried. Then when there is a particular accurate transaction, accurate treatment of particular transaction, and that is adopted permanently, and that become general accepted accounting principle. These are also known as basic concepts, ideologies, standard terminology, assumption, and by many other names. So there are different names of it. So fundamental accounting assumption principle or basic accounting concepts. Because principle, assumption, basic accounting concepts are similar to each other and generally mingle by the different persons, so we will study it in a collectively. So we'll explain them here collectively. So first is revenue recognition concept or accrual concept. According to this concept, revenue will be recognized only when it is actually realized. The word is actually realized. What is the meaning of this actually realized? Actually realized means either the transaction should be happened, or benefit should be received. For example, if a person by passing in front of your shop and say you that I will purchase this articles from you in the evening, so will you treat it as a revenue? No, it will not be treated as a revenue because he just say to do this. So revenue will be recognized only when he actually purchased the goods, and payment is made by him or not, that is not a point. If payment is made by him, that is cash transaction. If payment is not made by him, that is credit transaction. But revenue will be recognized when transaction occurred. So this is the revenue concept. So second is business entity concept. According to this principle or concept, business and its owner are separate, or means whenever you are writing book of account, that must be written from point of view of business. Business has its own assets, liabilities. It can do transaction on its behalf. So in the same way, owner has its personal asset, liabilities, so he can also do transaction in his behalf. So it means business and owner should be treated separately. That's why transaction between business and owner are also recorded in the book of accounts. Whenever businessman put new capital in the business, or whenever amount is withdrawn by the owner, that is written in the book of account because of this concept, business entity concept. So simple meaning is business and its owner are two different entities from legal point of view. Next is money measurement concept. According to this principle or concept, in book of account only that transaction will be written that can be expressed in money. So transaction which cannot be expressed in money will be ignored. Like in a firm, there are trained staff or experienced manager that will not be written in the books of account. Only assets which have value or transactions which are related with money will be recorded. Next is going concern concept. According to this principle or concept, it is assumed that business was running in the past, now presently it is running, and in future it will continue to run. That's why in accounts, personal and real account are not closed, they are balanced, because we have to carry business further in future. So business is a continuous entity. Next is accounting period concept. According to this concept, period of accounts are divided into different periods of 12 months. That is called accounting period. It is a period of 12 months. It may be from 1st January to December or 1st April to 31st March. This is done to know the result of the various transactions, result of the operations, to find out net profit or loss. If this concept is not followed, we are not able to find the result of the operation. Next is materiality. According to this concept or a principle, only material things should be recorded in the books of account. Materiality refers to which have some significant value, things which have some significant value. There are some items or transactions which are of negligible value that should not be recorded in the books of account. For example, there is a big firm like Reliance, and there are in the factory there are some grooms or dustbins that need not to be recorded in the books of account, because that are not material things. So what is material thing? That is material thing is that thing which can put effect if it is not shown in the book of account. It can change a decision of the investor or creditor or any other person if not properly shown in the book of account. Next is conservatism concept or prudence concept. Conservatism concept or prudence concept says that if there is chances of any loss, or you are expecting that there is a loss, then you should be consider that loss into accounting and make provision according to that. Regarding revenue, if you are expected that there will be revenue, that should be ignored. It means that losses should be considered and arrangement should be made according to that, but revenue which are not yet realized should be totally ignored. So it means it is a defensive approach. It suggests a defensive approach. You should always ready for any kind of adverse situation or losses. Then there is a dual aspect. According to dual aspect, for every transaction, dual aspects are recorded. For every debit, there is a equal amount of credit on the other side, and we have to record both aspects of transaction in book of accounts. So it means asset is always equal to liability plus capital. This is an accounting equation which always hold good while doing accounting. This is due to dual aspect. Next, cost concept. According to this concept or principle, asset should be recorded in the book of account at cost price. So what is the cost price? Cost price is purchase price plus purchase or installation expenses related to that particular asset. For example, a asset is purchased for 1 lakh. On its carriage and installation, 10,000 is spent. So the cost of asset will be 1,10,000. So asset should be recorded in the book of account at a cost price, that is 1,10,000. Neither it will be recorded at market price nor it will be recorded at a realized price. Next, objectivity. Objectivity means whatever written in the book of account, that must be based on some proof or written documents. So without written documents, nothing will be recorded in the book of account. This is called objectivity. It means verifiability of a transaction. Transaction must be verifiable. Then consistency. Consistency, this according to this concept, whatever method or treatment you follow, that should be followed for continuous year, more than 1 year. It means because in accounting there are different treatment of a particular transaction is allowed, like valuation of stock or the charging of depreciation. So according to this principle, whatever method you have once followed, that should be followed for many years, because otherwise if you change the method, you will not be able to compare the result of different years for comparison purpose. Next is full disclosure. According to this concept or principle in book of account, there should be full disclosure. It means each and every important information should be disclosed in the book of account. It means information presented in the account should be simple and include each and every important aspect. Nothing should be hidden or undisclosed. Then last is matching concept. According to this concept, revenue of one accounting period should be matched with expenses of that very period. It means if in 2000 year there is a revenue, that revenue should be matched with the expenses of year 2019. It means one accounting, to find out the accurate or true result of one accounting period, revenue of that period must be matched with the expense of that period. So these are the accounting principles, assumption or basic accounting concepts. Now there is basis of accounting. There are two bases of accounting. Cash basis of accounting and accrual basis of accounting. In cash basis of accounting, income should be considered as income only when it is actually received in cash. Similarly, expenses will be treated expenses when it is actually paid in cash. So here the base of recording is actual payment of or actual receipt of cash. We will make it clear with the help of example. For example, rent of a building is 4,000 per month. A company receiving rent of a building of 4,000, and this year only 10-month rent has been received and 2-month rent is recoverable. According to cash basis, the rental income 4,000 into 10 this year is 40,000. So in this year we will treat 40,000 as income from rent because it is received in cash. Then accrual basis of accounting, in this method of accounting, in this basis of accounting, income will be considered income only if it has been earned in that year, or expenses will be treated expenses only if the benefit of that is received in the year. So the actual receipt of income and the actual payment of expenses do not affect the identification of the income and expense. It means income will be treated income only if it is related with that very accounting period, or in the same way expenses will be treated as expenses of that period if it is if its benefit is related in that much period. For example, if the rent of a building is 4,000, same example, we will do it here with this accrual basis of accounting. If the rent of the building is 4,000 per month and this year only 10-month rent has been received and 2-month rent is recoverable. So same example is here. In cash basis we have done that the income was 40,000. But here in accrual basis, 4,000 rent, 10,000 is received, 2,000 is recovered, but it is related to accounting period, that much, that accounting period. So according to accrual concept, the rental income is 4,000 into 12. So this year rental income will be 48,000. So actually cash received or not received in this method, it does not matter. So the difference between cash basis and accrual basis of accounting. So the difference is, first is basic meaning. We have done that in cash accounting, income will be considered income when it is actually received, or expense will be recognized only when it is actually paid. In accrual basis of accounting, income or expense will be recognized on mercantile basis or accrual basis. It means when it is related to particular accounting period. Nature cash accounting is simple. Cash received treated as income. Cash not received not recorded as income. So cash paid is treated as expenses. Accrual accounting, it is complex. You have to find out whether it is related to particular year or not. Method. Cash accounting is not a recognized method as per Companies Act, but accrual accounting is a recognized method. Income statement. In cash accounting, income statement shows lower income. In accrual accounting, income statement show comparatively higher income. So matching concept. Basis is matching concept. In cash accounting, it is not followed. In accrual accounting, it is followed. Recognition of nature. In cash accounting, revenue is recognized when cash is received. In accrual basis, revenue is recognized when it is earned. In the same way, recognition of expenses. Cash accounting, when cash is paid, expenses will be recognized. Accrual accounting, expenses when incurred. It means in which year benefit of that expense is received, that will be treated as expense of that period. Degree of accuracy. Cash accounting is not very much accurate. It is less accurate. Accrual accounting is comparatively high accurate. Then there is a source document and voucher. Meaning of voucher. Voucher are the written proof of transaction which is generally made from the source documents. It helps in systematic and satisfactory accounting. So these are the vouchers are the document which are prepared from the original or source document of the transactions. These are the written proof for accounting. So there is a question for you. The question is very simple. Did you subscribe the channel? If you have not subscribed the channel yet, so please subscribe it. Just press the red button below the video, like the video, share the video. Next is source document voucher. The next topic is original or source document. What are original or source document? We have done that accounting is based on fact. All transactions are recorded in the business books which are based on written documents. These written documents are called source document. Whenever there is a transaction, there is some document related to that. That document is called source document. The following are the key documents used in the business: cash memo for cash receipt payment, bill or invoice for sale and purchase, a receipt for any kind of payment, pay-in slip for amount deposited in bank, check for withdrawing amount from bank, debit note whenever goods purchased are returned to anyone, credit note whenever someone return goods to us which are sold previously. Then miscellaneous, it includes ticket, electricity bills, extra. These are the source documents. Next types of vouchers. Voucher are mainly classified into two types, that is supporting voucher and accounting voucher. Supporting vouchers. Supporting voucher are the paper proof or documental proof of a transaction. These are of two types. First is internal supporting voucher. Internal supporting voucher are the self-generated by the merchant entity or business. It is prepared by the businessman itself and certified by the outsider. Like when we deposit money in the bank, so there is a deposit slip which is countersigned by the or stamped by the bank, External supporting voucher. External supporting voucher are the documents which are made by the outsider, received by the business entity or merchant entity, like receipt of cash. Whenever someone pay us cash, we make issue a receipt to them, debit note received extra. Then another type that is important one, accounting voucher. Accounting vouchers are the vouchers which are prepared by the businessman itself or merchant entity, which is prepared by the merchant entity from internal supporting vouchers. So accounting vouchers are prepared from internal supporting vouchers. These vouchers are prepared by the business persons like clerk, accountant, or countersigned by any competent authority. These are further classified into two parts, cash vouchers and non-cash vouchers. Non-cash vouchers are also called transfer vouchers. Cash vouchers. So account voucher which are related to cash transaction are called cash vouchers. Cash voucher related to cash receipt or cash payment. These are divided into two sections, two parts. Cash voucher which are related to actual payment of cash. So there is a debit voucher. Debit voucher is that voucher which is written proof of cash payment. That is called debit voucher. When we pay someone some money, at that time we prepared debit voucher. It is called debit voucher because here someone's account is debited to whom we are paying. So these are made at the time of any cash payment such as rent, wages, cash purchase of goods, purchase of property, withdrawal, prepayment of loan, payment to creditor, etc. If amount of transaction means amount of debit voucher is more than 500, then 1 rupee government ticket revenue stamp is pasted on it. The debit voucher are as follows. So this is debit voucher. So this is name of the firm which is preparing, then voucher number, then credit amount, then credit account, which account is credited, then amount, what is the amount, then date, then debit, whose account is debited. So we will write here the name of the party, name of the person or party. Here some explanation means narration about the why it is being debited. Here again amount, then here prepared by name of the accountant, here authorized person who authorized it. Here is a revenue stamp if amount is more than 500. Next is credit voucher. Credit voucher, it is a written proof of cash received. Whenever we receive some cash, at that time credit voucher is prepared. It is called credit voucher because in this someone's account is creditor. These are prepared for any cash receipt such as commission receipt, rent receipt, cash sale of goods, cash sale of asset, cash receipt from creditor, borrowing, cash withdrawals from bank, capital investment, extra. These creditor voucher, the credit voucher is, this is credit voucher. So some columns are same with the debit voucher. So name of the firm, voucher number, here account will be debited. So debit account, amount, date, credit account. Whose account will be credited? We will write here 6 number, and then there will be some narration. And here is amount. Here is prepared by accountant and authorized by competent authority. Then there is a revenue stamp if amount is more than 500. Next is type of vouchers, non-cash voucher or transfer vouchers. So these are vouchers which are prepared when there is no cash involved in the transaction. The voucher are designed for all those transactions which are not related to cash. These are prepared for for credit purchase, credit sale. So credit purchase, loan purchase means credit purchase, loan sale means credit sale, repayment, sale, repayment. So here is return means sale return, purchase return, depreciation, sale of property on credit, bad debt, extra. So this voucher is related with credit transaction only. Here there is no involvement of cash. This is also called transfer voucher. It is called transfer voucher because here amount is transferred from one account to another account. The performer for transfer voucher is, so non-cash voucher or transfer voucher is, here we will write the name of the firm who is preparing, voucher number, then date, here debit, which account is to be debited we will put here, here we will write the amount. Credit, which account will be credited we will write here, here amount. Here we will write some narration, then it is prepared by, or then it is authorized by. So here more than one account can be debited or more than one account can be credited. So this is a transfer voucher. This is the performer of transfer voucher. So this is the video related with the theory base of accounting. Please share this video, like this video. Thank you.